Hello, everyone. I'm here with Angie M. Jordan, podcast pimp, the podcast pusher, the pod piper of podcasts. Girl, I worked on that one. And we talk to her about more than a brand. And Angie, please let them know who is Angie M. Jordan without all the titles.
Without the podcast pimp title and the push and P. Push and P. That's what I want. Push and P. I'm gonna give me a t-shirt, push and P. But anyway, Angie is, listen, this question is a crazy question and a hard question for somebody who's a business owner. Like, all they do is they business most of the time. But if you could describe me in, like, I think most of my friends and my people in my life, they could describe me in one word. They'd probably say crazy, but what they mean by crazy is adventurous, just fun-loving, courageous, willing to put myself out there, down for whatever. That's kind of who I am, and I have to say that I'm like a deep lover, meaning I love so hard all of my people. I love my family so hard, and that is probably one of my core values. Oh, remember we did that core value exercise? Do you remember doing that when we were in that group together? So we were just talking about. So that's a great way to define a person, is their core value. So for me, it's family, personal responsibility, and fun. That's it. Sum it up. Those are my core values, for real.
Your core values. And I've worked with you for a while now, and I see those core values in your business. How was it integrating those values into how you run your business now?
I think no, because I can't help it as a person. I'm also extremely who I am and unapologetic about that. Like, I've never, you know how people talk about having imposter syndrome and all. I've never been in a room that I didn't think I belong, because I'm a little bit arrogant. I'm like, hey, I'm better than all these people. I can do that. I just have that about me. So for me, infusing who I am into my business and into my brand, and this is cool because I've really just been thinking about this a lot, like my brand and how I bring even more of myself into my brand in lots of different ways. Little things like having the same background on my videos, or like my t-shirts that I want to get made, or like the colored lipstick that I wear every time I show up, so people can really identify me through these little things, or even phrases that I might say all the time, like stuff like that. I've just been thinking a lot about it. But part of my brand that I've built very strongly, and you probably can attest to this, is just that I'm so raw and just who I am. So it has not been hard for me to incorporate those core values. And I also see those core values as more of a like a roadmap too for me. So now that I'm glad I identified those values, because you can now use those as like a lens for choosing what you want to do in your business. And when you know, sometimes things get convoluted, and we get where we feel confused, or we don't know what to do next, or we feel a little bit lost sometimes in our business. And I think being able to point back to those things that are part of your core values, and saying, okay, wait, let me incorporate this. Let me think, let me see this through the lens of what I value most, and does this support that? So that's a really long answer to that question, but there you go.
And you said you was wrong, and good. The other thing you said one of your core values was family, and how has family motivated you to keep going? Because we know the market changes all the time. We are in a market shift, especially as entrepreneurs. But how has family helped you to keep going?
Yeah. I don't necessarily think that they have motivated me. If anything, them mofos prefer me to go get a damn job. Okay, they can understand that, and I think that's a very common thing for entrepreneurs. Is like, your families still don't know. My mom's like, so my mom still thinks that a podcast is. I don't think she really knows what it is still. Okay, so she'll be like, "Oh yeah, did you like?" She speaks of it as it's like video only, and I'd be like, that's not really what it is, right? Like, she'd be like, you saw them on video on your podcast or something." I don't know. It's just funny, but I wouldn't say that they necessarily motivated me. I will say I did raise my daughter. I won't say alone because my family helped me raise her, but I did it unpartnered. And part of that and having a daughter, it is a little bit of a push of like wanting to show her that you can do whatever it is that you want to do. But what I will say is that family informs some of my decision making in my business. For instance, maybe having the motivation to want to spend more time with my family. That has been the thing.
Call it wrong.
What?
I had somebody knocking at the door outside the house, and they was just like, "We're just here." Okay. In the middle. Thanks for ringing that door. Oh,
okay. So we can pick back up. We were talking about family. So no, family is something that has informed what I do and how I run my business. So even just the fact that I started my business really came from family. It came from a lot of different factors, but I was working a lot. I was working like I would leave the house at like 6 o'clock in the morning and I would get back at like 8 something at night most of the time because I was commuting into New York City. And my daughter was young, and so that was a motivation so I could spend time with family. My dad got cancer around that same time whenever I was working so hard, and I was like, I need to move home. I need to like regroup. I want to spend time with family. So certain ways it's like shaped what I do in my business. If that makes sense.
I hate these dogs.
Oh, you just a dog?
They're in the basement. And it's because she's outside. I was like, oh my God.
Like, I was like, wait, that's a dog? Or that's like something sweeping back and forth across your microphone?
No. They're in the basement because there's somebody outside, so they feel like they need to be protective.
Yeah, that's what they do.
I'm in here by okay. Yeah, we're going to be editing. It's going to be funny. We got to edit the video.
Yeah.
Oh, family. Okay.
Right. We gonna have to make a blooper.
Yeah.
You'd be like,
get it.
Yeah. Or we like do it like this. So.
All right. So family, you said family motivated you. And I think it's interesting that you said sometimes, like when your mom don't really understand what podcast is. I would say for me personally, with growing up, I grew up in the South. So I grew up in North Carolina. You go to college, you get a good job, you work twice as hard, you do all these things. And then at some point, I realized I felt like it was all a scam. Like I went to college and got all the degrees, all the accolades, but I'm working to make somebody else rich while they take up all my time. And I do think that even up to this point with my own mom, she's still trying to wrap her head around like, but you've done so well in your military career. Why are you done with it? And I think that's a hard thing for people's family to understand. Even though they're your motivation, they still don't understand why. If you checked all the blocks, why you just not happy with what you got? You're living the dream. I guess that would be the best way to say it. That's what we work so hard for.
Yeah. You know you're not going to be able to edit out that damn dog barking, right? Letting you know. We just, I mean, we could try, but I don't know if it's going to edit all the way out. I'm just letting you know. So let's continue, and I'll answer your question, but put yourself on mute when I'm talking to like minimize if the dogs are barking when I'm talking, so we don't catch that. Okay.
Okay. I hate them. I don't even want these stupid dogs. Just like got on the rest of days. This lady, I'm like, I'm coming to spring your house.
That's how it be. That's how it is. That's literally how it is. Just like out of all the days, my fucking AirPods, like it was dead, but they never dead. Never.
Maybe she on.
Okay, let me answer that question. So I think you're right. It's like you're building a dream for someone else, and you have this realization that if you're going to be out here doing all this work and building a dream for somebody else, like, why not build it for yourself? And it's really, really hard. And I'm the same. I grew up in the South, and so I tell people this all the time. One of the best things I ever did for my daughter was to move, and we moved to Jersey. And when I grew up, I thought, okay, you go to school, you get this job, you become a teacher, or you become a nurse, or if you're really lucky, you can like be a doctor or a lawyer, and that's it. And you get married, and your husband is like the doctor or the lawyer, or where I'm from, they work at the chemical plant and they make good money. And so that's all that I saw, and all that I could aspire to was what I saw, which was you make 60 grand and that's a good living, and that's what you do. So coming from that, and I always felt like I didn't belong there because I just felt like, I don't know, I don't want to say like I was bigger than, I just had more aspirations than that. And so when I moved, it was crazy. My friends, I then moved, and I had friends whose husbands' bonuses were my yearly salary. I was like, oh, wait, these real rich people. Like, these people making $100,000 a year ain't real rich people. These people who is up here up in the Northeast, who living right, in the suburbs of New York City, who driving around their little Honda Civics are like multi-millionaires. Like, they got money. So it just opened up new things for me, in the way, and for my daughter, which I've been so happy about, that she actually sees that there's bigger things there. But it's definitely a struggle when I remember the first, like, when I started my business, and because the first business I started was, I've actually had businesses ever since I was like 20 years old. I've always done something, right? And my first, like, when I started doing life coaching online, is right before I was doing, podcasts. And just remember my family just like, when are you going to get a job? Just like, listen, I'm telling y'all. And my brother is the only one who believed in me, in the sense that he was like, I don't know what you're going to end up doing, but I know you're going to be successful. And I was like, thanks. And at the time when he told me that, I felt so lost. Like, I just didn't know what I wanted, but I just knew that it wasn't just this normal 9-to-5, and I just knew. And when I started something else that I tell people all the time who are scared to put themselves out there because of their family, block them bitches. I blocked, my grandpa blocked, my uncle blocked, I blocked my daddy was blocked because I know you in real life. What do I need you on my Facebook for? Because he made a comment about me cursing on Facebook and talking dirty. I was like, okay, block. I don't need you to see my Facebook post. My mama too. She blocked on my Instagram still. Like, blocked them. Because for what? I don't need it. I reach out and talk to them and FaceTime them almost every day. So, a lot of people are let that be something that holds them back about what their family is going to think about them. And my family has just gotten so used to it. They gonna get used to it. They gonna get used to your black sheepness and your like refusal to do the same things as what everybody else is doing. They eventually get used to it. Like nothing I could do will surprise them, just like how I got married. And it was like, we went to the courthouse and we were like, hey, y'all, guess what we did? And no one in my family said a word except, why you did that? Like, you shouldn't do that. My sister and my brother was like, girl, do you know what you did? Because they've been married a long time. So, but nobody was surprised. Nobody was shocked because that's just how I've lived my life. I just, nobody's surprised that Angie just does whatever. Nobody.
But we're going to pause. Because she's on the porch. They're losing their minds. They're in the basement. I'm on the second. You can still hear them like that.
Yeah, they're loud.
Okay. But there's only one that's barking. There's two of them, but only one is barking. I can tell that they got different voices.
Yep. Yeah. No. I miss my puppy dog.
Oh yeah.
I miss my baby, and my husband is like, hell no, we ain't getting no damn dog. And I'm also like, hell no, because we live on the 43rd floor and like,
oh no ma'am, gotta go all the way down there?
Got to go all the way down there for you to go take a piss? It can't make it. Then you want to wake up early and go to the, and then I had a house, so I'm spoiled of you wake up and you just open the fucking door. You just go out in the yard. Like, got to walk you downstairs. Then there ain't got no grass. They ain't got a type of grass around where I live. Like, where they even going to the bathroom at?
Yeah, it's only one. The youngest one we have, the oldest one, she old. She like 12, 13.
And then it's just sweet and chilled out. She's chilled out. Yeah, she ain't stunting.
The two, he's 2, about to be 3. So
oh yeah, they act up. They got a lot of energy. He the teenager.
Mm-hmm. That's who's making noise. The oldest one.
That's how my dog was. Well, my dog never stopped barking because she was a Chihuahua. So everything barked. She barked at everything. But as she got older, she still barked, but she just wasn't about it. Wasn't about that life. She calmed down. Like she used to when she was younger. She would like chase people and like she would try to run away. Like the bitch was crazy. But then she calmed. She got older. It was so nice when she got older. She was chilled
out
and let us sit on the porch with me, and she wouldn't go nowhere. Like she was chilled. But when she was young,
young and vibrant. I think she will go on. Hope. I think okay. We'll jump back into it. I think it's hilarious. She said, block them bitches. I was hearing it when you said it. I was like, sound like block them bitches. If you want to, maybe that should be the name of this podcast.
Block them bitches. Your grandma, your grandpa, your mama, your daddy, it don't matter. They could all catch that swift block.
Yes. And it's not like it's no hard feelings. It's just, y'all not my audience anyway.
You not about to buy my shit. And you know what? And I don't need that, especially when you're starting out. You just don't need that. Like, you it affects you so deeply. Any negativity that you get really affects you. See, now I wouldn't even care, and I don't care. But when you're first starting something new and you're putting yourself out there, any little thing, like if it's a troll comment, if it's, something from your family, like my cousin commented on my post about podcasting where I'm like doing a call to action to come and work with me. He was like, why would anybody pay anybody to help them start a podcast? You could just Google it. Block.
A lot.
Block him. I let it sit there, and I let my friends tore him up in the comments. Everybody like tore his ass up. And I was like, relax, y'all. They're my people. But still, he was wrong, and he got his ass tore up in the comments. And then he caught that block. But yeah, that if that was when I first started, that would have felt really hard for me, and I know you can relate to that because it's like really scary to put yourself out there when you're starting. And so any of that negative shit, that's like on TikTok. Wait, I got to tell this story. I have to tell this story. So the other night I got like a little bit tipsy and a little bit, was gardening. That's what they call it on TikTok. That's getting, and so I was in there and I just was going on these rants on my fucking TikTok page. And I saved all these drafts that are literally just rants. But one of the things I told a story, and it was when I first started out on TikTok. I made this TikTok, and the TikTok said, it was like, I don't know why I'm not like TikTok famous yet, because I'm so cute and I'm so like cool. Like I'm cuter and cooler than everybody else. So why am I not famous? Can they tell me up? They saw me up. They were stitching that video. I was like, felt like and they were just, this is what's wrong. It's black women. Black women is mean. And so women was on there, especially to a little light-skinned, curly haired girl saying that she was prettier than other people. And oh, you get my humor. Like I was just like fucking around, and girl, they tore my ass up. And you know what I did? Deleted that video, deleted the fucking blocked the people that stitched me, like went into a fucking hermit hole and never came back. Like it was like, oh no, this shit, no ma'am, that shit scared me. And I thought you would appreciate that story. I was giggling about it the other night. I was like, I swiftly hit that delete and went into hiding
and did a pivot. Okay. This ain't it.
Was like, no. I stepped in something I was not ready for, and I still am not. Like, the people, especially on like TikTok, YouTube, they be nasty. They get nasty. So, right now, it comes with it.
Yeah. I think it's those challenging parts that make us better, not just people, but better entrepreneurs. Man, I started out light and airy, like tool dress in the park. I don't even like being outside.
It was the equivalent to the like white lady coach with the big hat and the like the boots.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta wear the big rimmed hat, and that's how you're and you're like,
I don't even drink pumpkin spice.
I was gonna say, and you got in your bio is like Target, Jesus, and whatever.
That's how I started out. Light, airy, tool dress, holding I was in like a rose garden, holding a rose in my branding photos. Everything was really, really light and white. And I felt like I had to not be myself to fit into that persona that I had created on Instagram. I was specifically on Instagram. That's when I was doing wedding invitations. And Kansas City, I was in Kansas City that time. Kansas City has a big wedding industry. Like there's people in the Midwest just like to get
They ain't got shit else to do. You got to go get married. That's like in the South too. They like that too. They ain't got shit to do. You go get married.
Got a big wedding. But I had gotten to the point where people in Kansas City would call me by my Instagram name. But I'm not like that person you just saw. So
What was the name?
Mm-hmm. Organized chaos. That was the name of my business.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, you're organized chaos. And I was like, yeah, but I'm not in nothing tool. I'm like in the head.
But I'm not that.
That's me, but that's not me, girl. I'm sorry. So I feel like I was catfishing people. So I applaud you for always being as authentic as you have been, not having imposter syndrome, not feeling like you need to dim the Angie Jordan light, because I think that's what helps people stay in the game regardless of the market shifts. People know what to do.
Yeah. And I will say, I feel like incredibly blessed, and I would say lucky, but I won't say lucky because I've done a lot of work on myself in general. So it's not just like I woke up one day and was just fearless.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I worked to get to this place. It's kind of like you go through your lowest lows, and I did in my, I don't know, late teens, early 20s, like my transition from being a teenager to like trying to grow up was really, really rough. And I went through some really low lows of like stuff I don't want to talk about because then we have to put trigger warnings on here. But coming from something so low, and I literally put intentional effort into digging myself out of that hole, nothing feels that heavy as that place that I used to be. So like, that's also why nothing is like a big deal to me. Like, whatever. Like, because I intentionally, like, I was in such a low place that like, nothing compares to that. So like, somebody not liking what I'm talking about online is just so minuscule of a thing for me because I've been through tough things. So I think that has a lot to do with it, is just going through those tough things, like build a lot of resilience. And especially when you were an active participant in getting yourself out of those tough things. It's not just like I just went through them, but I had to actively work at it. And so, yeah, it's not by luck or chance that I've become the way that I am. It's because of my story and where I came from, which, by the way, I mean, I had a pretty like kick-ass upbringing and childhood. Like, I got great parents, great family. Like, there's things that I've also gone through too, but I don't want to paint a picture like I was like, like, yeah, like it wasn't, I ain't come from nothing, and my daddy came from nothing, but I didn't come from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, so yeah, it's not just luck. I really have worked on that. And the other thing I will say is what you just said about how it enables you to stay in the game. You're absolutely right. Like being yourself, because that's the thing that's irreplaceable. And that's the thing that differentiates you. And it's also the thing that, like, can you imagine trying to pretend your way through this?
I was trying. It was hard. I was trying. It was hard. It was so ridiculous. Like, I would do stuff on my lunch. I'll go live on lunch since I'm still active duty. I would go in my office, change out of my uniform because I don't want nobody to think I'm just jump up and deploy on them. Try to get myself together, so like Miss Light and Airy that they see on Instagram, and then do the thing, and then change back into it. It was a mess. I was like, this is too much. And if y'all don't it, and that's the point. I was like, they don't like it. You're not for me. It's okay.
Yeah, and it becomes such a entrepreneurship and having a business becomes such a large part of your life that if you are trying to separate that, it's it just doesn't work when you're a solopreneur, entrepreneur. Now, maybe if you grow past a certain point and you can really separate yourself from your brand. But what I also want to point out that I think marketing in general is really, really, I think this year, next year, I think it's gonna be really even more important, your brand and you, like, people, that's what makes you like different. Because you know what? When I started doing this podcast business, it like there wasn't hardly anybody else. There definitely wasn't any Black women. It's like hardly, you know what I mean? Like I could count on a hand how many. And now, yeah, they're everywhere. Everybody's a fucking podcast strategist, which is annoying to me, but whatever. I'm the best, you know?
Yeah.
So it's my attitude. And so, but my thing is that part of what differentiates Angie, she does podcast marketing, helps people produce their podcasts, whatever, from Susie Q over here. Susie Q is lame, boring, whatever, trying to pretend to be somebody else or not really all of herself into her brand. It's just very blah. And then you got Angie over here that's like in your face and you resonate with me. This is why I never have bad fit clients. Never. I see people with like horror stories about clients that are bad fits and that were, you know, whatever, nightmares. And I'm like, I don't have that. But it's because the people who choose to work with me largely in part because of me and because of like who I am and how I am. And they resonate with that and we get along. Like we sitting up here talking and we on the same wavelength. And I'm not pretending. I didn't try to take cursing out of my brand because people were like, well, you're going to repel some people. Good. Because I'm going to be on a fucking call and I'm going to be saying fucking call and I'm going to be cursing and like, and then that person's going to be like, ooh, and I'm like, are they going to be like, please don't say that? And I'm like, now I got to sit on this phone. I can't even talk how I normally talk. You know, like that's why people get incongruent clients. It's because they're not being they're not showing who they are. And so they're attracting all these people that they don't want because they're not being fully themselves. Their brand is giving off something different. So I think branding, which this is hilarious coming from me because I've never cared about a brand. I've never gotten like branding done.
We've talked about that.
I ain't never had nobody do a website. I just throw shit up there, but I do have a very distinct brand. And it comes from, without me doing a logo, like it ain't come from that. It came from me being who I am, the way that I speak, the way that I show up. And yeah, now I want to kind of double down on that with some more visual elements. But my brand came from me being naturally who I am, which is super interesting to me is that, and I know that you'll love this conversation, but regardless, like you have a brand regardless. You have a brand voice regardless of whether you are intentionally building it or unintentionally building it. You still got one.
Yep. And people still see it. So it's up before you get all the pretty stuff done. I always tell people, don't start out pretty stuff because you're going to end up wasting somebody's time. By the time you start the pretty stuff and end it, you don't be a different person. In the middle, you don't change your person. You don't change who you are. So don't start with the stuff, the pretty stuff. I love of course, I love all the visuals, but it's the last. It's the last.
Yeah. Because you have to figure out. Yeah. And I think people forget that part of their brand is like they forget that they are like the brand is an expression of their values and who they are and how they want to be perceived. And so that has like your content is really that, you know, how you speak, how you show up. You like being on video, you like being on podcasts. Like, how do you, I have some clients who are more formal. And so in their podcast, I treat it more formal. I edit out more stuff. I, close gaps up. I don't let them have these and all this other shit because that's what they like. And they have a more buttoned up formal brand than someone who's like me, who part of my brand would be showing up and not editing anything at all. Like nobody would be I burped once in a podcast and left it in. I left it in, and people appreciate that kind of shit from me, from my, like, that's on brand for me. Like, I just burped and I was like, sorry.
Excuse me.
My bad. And it's funny, and it gets people's attention because I'm a fucking podcast person, but like, I'll be the first to not have perfect audio and not like, and leave a burp in my audio, or be like, hey, I recorded this from my bed, from my phone, y'all. Like, and it just attracted people because they were just like, it was different. Because a lot of people you see, Lord, since I've been on this TikTok, I've been seeing some like podcast people, and they're just so put together, and their videos look so good. And it's like, how do you get the best sound quality and video set up? And it just ain't me. It's cool. I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's cool. But is it Angie? I'm gonna say, here, look, go record this shit in your closet, and let's keep it moving.
Yes. Can we get this done? And can we just get it done? Yeah. Record all my podcast episodes besides this one. I've been recording in my closet. I'm actually coming out.
And coming out your closet with
you.
I like it. It's a safe place. It's a safe space. Come out the closet. I'm so proud of you.
Coming on out. So if this one will be all right. This is the first one. I'm excited. I'm glad you were my first one to come out the closet with.
Yay. I know, because we done been through some ups and downs with this recording already.
Yes. We already, wait till you
barely
I don't know.
We barely know that we're gonna have to do a lot of editing with this one.
Yes. But I'll do a real outtake so y'all can see what we was dealing with. But my one last question that I want to ask you, do you think young 10-year-old Angie is proud of where you are today?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And if I think about young 10-year-old Angie, my daughter is in college. She's 20 years old. She's a sophomore in college. This girl spends so much time. She's so opposite of me. She's very like logical, thinks things through. Like, she's not a follower. She's not like, if these girls are going out and getting drunk and whatever, she's gonna be like, if I go and do that, then this might happen, and that is not gonna be good. So I'm not gonna do that. Like, she's much where I'm like, yeah. So she's very methodical, and she tells me all the time, because I'm just like, she's like, oh, this class, I'm struggling, blah, 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 because she got to, make her 4.0 and whatever. And I'm like, and I'll try to give her advice, and she's like, you don't understand. You graduated college with a 2.4. I sure did. I barely made it. Look, she'll tell me that. But to say is that, in contrast, like, she's very methodical. This is in contrast, I have never, ever, ever given thought to my path or what's going to happen 10 steps ahead of what I'm doing right now. Never in my life have I done that. 10-year-old Angie ain't give a fuck. 10-year-old Angie, what was I worried about? What grade are you in 10? 5th grade?
Yeah.
10-year-old Angie was going to school with mismatched shoes on because my mama got me mismatched shoes because we got them from Walmart. and the shoes was in the box. You know, they just be out on display, and we bought them. And I didn't realize till I had them on that they was Reeboks. One of them striped, had one little bit of pink color, and the other one it was white. So there's two different shoes. And I went to school all year with the fuck shoes because my mama was like, that's what 10-year-old Angie was doing. 10-year-old Angie was on the playground. 10-year-old Angie was the only black girl in an all-white school. And they had a black guy who came to the school that year in 5th grade, and everybody thought we should date. So 10-year-old Angie was dating guys. One recess, I said yes to be his girlfriend. And then second recess, I broke up with him.
Just because it was a black guy.
Just because we was both black, we was only black people, and it was like,
y'all got to be together.
And he was funky. He was so funky. And I just anyway, that's what 10-year-old Angie was doing. She was not dreaming up anything. And I will even say fucking 20-year-old Angie wasn't dreaming up nothing. I was just such a in the moment person. And it's actually served me really well in a lot of ways. I mean, I wish I'd have been more planful in my life, 100%. I wish I would have thought about something. Like when I was in college, the way I picked my major, I was like, okay, what? I literally, this back when you had the little catalog, actual one, not online. You open it up and you're like looking at what the requirements are for each major. I literally went through that damn catalog to find majors that I did not have to do advanced math, I did not have to do public speaking, and I didn't have to do advanced sciences. And that's how I picked my major, apparel design. That's how I picked it. I said, oh, that look good. I'm going to do that. That's how I picked it. And so my daughter, she's doing political science. And and so she right. I don't get it because she's just like, oh, I didn't do good on the midterm. And I'm just like, okay, well, it ain't the end of the world. Like, who cares? And she just, you don't understand. Like, I don't. I should have had a little bit more thought into college and like what I wanted to do and all of that, but I didn't. And it served me really well because it has allowed me to be free and to be courageous and to just be adventurous and be like, fuck it, I'm trying this. Let me do this. Let's do this. And so I got a lot of experience doing a lot of different things, which led me to where I am. And listen, doesn't that sound like an entrepreneur's journey?
Yes, it does.
Because you have to do so many different things and you can't be rigid. You can't be rigid. You can't make plans. You can, but you have to be able to adapt and grow and try different things. And, that's when you're marketing yourself. Like, it's not, you can't be, like, my daughter would probably be a terrible entrepreneur. She needs to, like she would be like, yes. Yeah. It just lent myself to being an entrepreneur because I've always just been able to like move and shake. But yeah, I'm proud. I'm proud. 41-year-old Angie is proud of 41-year-old Angie because like I say this a lot and I journal this a lot. It's just like, thank you. Like, thank you for being so brave and thank you for being so courageous and thank you for like being able to show up. And I get up and I look out of the fucking window at this beautiful view in this high-rise, beautiful apartment that I live in now. And I'm just like, I remember coming to New York when I was for 9/11. I was just in awe and I fell in love with the city. Now when I wake up, I see the fucking Statue of Liberty every morning in the sunrise. I'm like, wait, what happened? Like, what happened? And so, yes, like I am grateful. And I think 10-year-old Angie would be just fine. She's not dating the stinky boy. So I did
the black boy by default.
Black boy by default. Oh my God. Good times. Good times.
So Angie, tell us where they can find you at on socials. I know you're on TikTok. What's your TikTok?
Oh, I am Angie M as in Marie Jordan everywhere. So anywhere, everywhere. LinkedIn, born ass LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. But come to my podcast that pays. Come and listen to me talk my shit. And yeah, that's it. Come and hang out. But TikTok, it unless the shit gets shut down, come over there and play with me because I've been having so much fun and I've been really ranty and hopefully nobody starts stitching me and talking about me because I'm gonna have to shut it down again. I'm gonna call you first. I'm gonna message you first. I'll be like, Lindsay, they stitched.
They got me.
They got me. They talking about me.
They got me. Give me all things.
They got me.
Thank you for your time, Angie. I really appreciate you being my first one at the closet.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
And y'all listen to the next episode of More Than a Brand.